Crystal active. Nerd Rage Renegades episode 155 begins now. Yes, they float. They all float down here. Stupid clowns. They aren't scary. I mean seriously. Now Mariah Carey's movie Glitter. That is freaking scary.
Nerd Rage Renegades.
We're back. Nerd Rage Renegades back at you again. Crystal, of course, with the intro. Crystal, lay off the sauce, though. You know, an AI drinking. You know, I mean, I'm drinking that good Arnold Palmer half and half pink lemonade and sweet tea. Chief, how are you? What are you drinking tonight, my friend?
Cherry Kool-Aid as usual. I think I might have told Computer Voice my old stories from the old days. It might have been a bad influence.
I think you have completely wrecked her, man. I mean, now I gotta go in and I gotta redo some shit.
Please be gentle.
The AI's drinking.
God damn it! Speaking of sciencey stuff, for science, I will take this frog on a roller coaster in the name of science. Today I was in the Renegade Labs and I have finally solved a mystery that man has been pondering for centuries, Chief. I solved it. I know what killed the dinosaurs.
Okay.
Would you like me to lay
lay it on me, man?
I will lay this. So
I have many questions, by the way. That's not my top question, but go ahead.
So the dinosaurs, we think they were kind of like brainless brutes. No. See, the dinosaurs were an advanced civilization that created the internet. And and all the dinosaurs went on dino social media and bitched about everything and ended up killing each other in a gigantic war. That's what killed the dinosaurs, is social media bitching. And that'll be in next week's Science Fair magazine.
Cretaceous book.
Eat my shorts, Robert Backer.
I don't know anything about like the periods of dinosaurs. Like I don't know the difference between like the different like Cretaceous period and all
Cretaceous, Jurassic, and Triassic.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know what dinosaurs lived when.
I do. That was my expertise when I was a child. You know, back before when you had to
Jurassic
research.
Park kind of sent a whole generation off looking for bones.
And who would have thought everything in Jurassic Park was wrong? You're wrong, bitch. Wrong.
That's all scientifically inaccurate.
I'm rich, bitch. I'm rich, bitch. I'm rich. You know, I guess we should start out with this because once again the comic book community lost such a great man today with Len Wein.
Yeah, man, what a depressing. It was amazing to me. I'll let you go ahead and do this, and then we'll get into it.
Well, you know, Len Wein. If those who are not familiar with Len Wein, I'm fixing my headphones because they're like fucking up right now. It's because I cut my hair. My headphones don't sit right anymore. Len Wein, of course, helped create Wolverine. Swamp Thing.
Storm, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. Len Wein was Giant Size X-Men, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. I had Burger King. I had a cheat day.
The guy had his hands in like a lot of my favorite stuff and it's some of the stuff I totally either forgotten or didn't know at all when I was looking at the list of stuff that he had been involved with. Giant Size
X-Men was written by Len Wein, so Nightcrawler, Colossus, Storm, it was all Len Wein, man, and passed away today, and that's a blow, man.
It does definitely a blow to like the transition from the age of like the Silver Age and Kirby that through the 70s, man, definitely a creator like crazy, like important stuff the guy
and if
contributed to and created, and that's a true blow for that transition into modern comics.
And if you think about it, the big characters, of course you got Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, but Wolverine probably Marvel's. I mean, you got to give that Wolverine's probably Marvel's most lucrative superhero creation.
Yeah, well, I mean, Deadpool is kind of became that later on, but yeah, Wolverine was like their bread and butter for a long time.
Wolverine was great, man, but
and then they oversaturated Wolverine and everything.
In the '90s they did. I mean, when he was in X-Men, and then he was in, he had his standalone comic. That was good. That was fine. You had him in a standalone and X-Men. But once he started going everywhere, he became an Avenger, and he was I mean, that's when it kind of got a little too much. I mean, he had miniseries like Wolverine and Kitty Pryde. But my favorite is always Wolverine in the X-Men, and those stories where they delved into his past, like when they went to Japan, and his history in Japan. I mean, to me, that's Wolverine, is getting to know who this man is.
In the 80s, when they started revealing who he was more in the different titles.
When Claremont started writing it.
And then they, I think he really kind of took off as popular when they put him on TV. That was the.
Are we talking in the 90s, or are we talking?
The 80s,
or are we talking? I'm Wolverine, Mike. We're gonna throw another shrimp on the bobby there.
Yeah,
I'm a Canadian Australian.
Claw with the fruit on it. The Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. When he first appeared on Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, I was instantly a Wolverine junkie. I had to have everything Wolverine, and just because I thought he was such a cool character even then. And then you find out he's not Australian.
Yeah, he's Canadian. And still, the best Wolverine voice has to be the 90s X-Men Wolverine voice. That has to be the best Wolverine. I give it up to... Yeah. I go where I want to go. It was like a Les Ricola Christian Bale Batman.
Let's see, 90s Wolverine versus Christian Bale Batman.
And a horse off. Who can have the more hoarser voice? Now, I do give it up. I do.
They're both drinking sand.
I do give it up to Steve Blum, because I actually enjoyed the Wolverine and the X-Men series that they had for like a season.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I like that. I watched a little bit of that.
I thought that was really good. So, Len Wein, you will be missed. Thank you for the stories and the characters, man. I mean, just...
But really, I think even more, his Swamp Thing, the creation of Swamp Thing was... They created major characters for both the big two. I mean,
and we will later on in the show, as we all know, with the DC reviews, we do them at the end of the show. Spoiler alert at the end of the show. We will be talking Swamp Thing because he does make an appearance.
Yeah, and
in one of the books we read.
Indeed, and I read a couple other ones too that were pretty good this week. So
I read one other. And then I went out tonight and I got all my books that I haven't gotten in the last couple of weeks. So I'm currently finishing off the Secret Empire storyline, the event. So I'll tell you how that goes later on.
I thought this is where I'm at it with Marvel because I just finished Inhumans vs. X-Men.
Yeah. All right. So
5 months later.
As we do every week, let's start off the night. Let's start off your day, or however you're listening to us, with a little Grand Theft Auto role play recap. And last week was a good one. Let's start off on Wednesday. So Djibouti went. Oh, I didn't even. I caught their 12-hour stream a little late. I did not hear why Djibouti went to the ER with the ear.
Yeah,
while he was at PAX. So I have to go back and read that.
I caught later in the evening because I was busy all day,
but. On Wednesday, they streamed and they revealed a new character over on Jamjar's server. They revealed Margaret Periwinkle. Where's Daniel? Where's Daniel? Have you seen my grandson?
I didn't know what to think when I started watching it, but man, it got funny.
You know what? You know why it got good?
Because Jimmy.
Hey, and you know what? Big shout out to Officer Jay Taylor if you're listening this week, buddy. I'm dropping some sugar in that chat for you there, Jimmy. Because we love Chief and I love the piggies. Chief and I love the piggies. We love the piggies. But Margaret tried to shoot one of the piggies.
She did shoot him. She shot him.
Man, and big shout outs to Danny Purry, who's now been listening to the show as Sheila Katz. Man, her role play was like spot on, man. That was some awesome freaking role play between all three of them. And I love that Djibouti kind of suckered him in. I'm just a frail old woman. Get in the car. Get in the car. Shut up. Yeah. So Margaret Periwinkle, this old woman, this nice. She's just looking for Daniel, Chief. She's looking for Daniel.
Apparently lives in a mansion. Didn't they spawn inside that mansion in that later on in the?
When they did Dr. Pepper later on, yeah, because at the end of the stream, that's where she lives, is in this big mansion.
Daniel's room.
She suckers in Sheila, Danny Purry, and then they get Jimmy. And what's really cool is Jimmy earlier in the night was trying out a new character. Congratulations on all the followers, too, there, Jimmy. Big milestone for Jimmy hitting all them followers. And, of course, you know, I always say if Djibouti's on Jamjar's server, Jimmy has to be involved in some way, shape, or form, because the Djibouti-Jimmy dynamic is just... It to me, it's right up there in a different way with the Djibouti Classy interaction.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, the Jerry and Jimmy together at the Human Research Lab was funny. He's not giving him any Jerry because they're doing the Four Winds over on the other thing. Jerry don't want to get muddied up.
Jerry went to the space between worlds and fell into an alternate dimension.
So I think that would be funny if Djibouti every once in a while in his other characters while interacting with Jimmy, if Jerry would like come through like an astral projection into the other character and go, Jimmy, I'm trapped.
Jimmy, they all weak. Remember,
I'm fighting the dark entity.
But Jimmy hooks up with him because he's on the run from the cops. We gotta go. Jimmy's wanted by the cops.
Taking taxi rides while he's wanted for the cops.
Yeah, taking taxi rides. They end up hooking up. And what I love is the fact that the way Margaret got Jimmy to kind of say, okay, I'm doing this, is she goes, Jimmy, we're gonna honeydickle. Oh, yeah. The honeydickle? I know the honeydickle.
I think he did his little dances.
And they robbed quite a couple people, and Margaret got away. But if you go to Jimmy's stream after that, I saw what happened to Sheila and Teppy. Because remember, they were at the docks, and Teppy showed up with, hello, Jimmy, it's Kevin. You don't want to make Philip mad there, Jimmy. No. And the cops showed up, and they arrested Sheila, and they arrested Teppy. I don't know what happened. I don't know what Teppy got. I'd have to ask Danny and Jimmy. Jimmy got like 10 months or something like that, and I don't know if it was like a $15,000 or a $17,000 fine. But they let Jimmy stay in the prison or in the cell there, and then Sheila got like 5 months, and then Jimmy ended up getting picked up by Kevin, and Kevin tried to kill Jimmy.
That was one of the funnier things when they were down there when they went to the dock, and then they called for Kevin, and Kevin showed up.
Kevin showed up.
It's like, oh,
hi,
man,
Kevin.
This is gonna be funny.
Hi, Kevin.
Sorry,
Kevin.
Apologizing to him for trying to tase him and rob him.
But that one was definitely good. And then on Thursday, Jerry Curl came back, and we got some Chiefs. We got Chiefs' favorite moment in roleplay history on Thursday.
It was my favorite thing they've done so far, and that's when they took Tommy Silver to the top of the hookah palace and made him sing into the shit pipe. And but he's saying "I Feel Good" by James Brown, which Tommy Silver could really sing, by the way, so it sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
And then, as the final test, he had to sing "Hey Jude" by the Beatles. And the funniest moment in the whole thing is the "na na na" part, where they're all doing that, and Jerry and Teddy and Pete
Gibbons.
they're all just spinning around with their arms up. They're all dancing.
Na, 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 na.
And it reminded me of it totally reminded me of the Beatles playing that concert on the roof of Abbey Road.
That was great.
All the people looking like they were just on a rooftop playing, and like all the people looking up from the street. It was kind of like the hobo Beatles having a concert.
So they made Tommy Silver an honorary hobo of the Southeast.